10 Most Powerful Birds That Ever Lived. Most birds in our perception of reality are seen as adorable feathered friends of Disney princesses, annoying troublemakers in the cities, and fearsome enemies of domestic livestock in villages. We don't think that some bird can easily come and kill us nowadays, but thousands of years ago things were different. In ancient days, birds were the animals of the earth, giant predators every land animal was terrified of. They were large, powerful, dangerous, and very interesting. So let's fly and see the list of the most powerful birds that ever walked or flew over this planet. Argentavis. Let's start strong with one of the biggest flying birds that ever existed on the earth, Argentavis magnificens. This gracious bird lived from 8 to 6 million years ago in late Miocene, the golden age for birds. The bird lived in what is now Argentina, where its fossils were first found and documented in 1980. It's currently estimated that typical Argentavises were from 4.9 to 5.9 feet, 1.5 to 1.8 meters tall, weighed about 155 to 159 pounds, 70 to 72 kilograms, and its body was about 11.5 feet, 3.5 meters long. To survive, Argentavis needed about 10 pounds of meat a day, and it allegedly killed small animals like ground sloths or armadillos to get the food. It's also likely that this giant bird took prey from other predators because no one wanted to mess up with such a huge thing. Argentavis was, without a doubt, a flying bird, but scientists still can't figure out how exactly it did that. Especially if you think about its impressive weight. Argentavis was much heavier than any bird we know today. So, how did it lift itself up? That's the question. For a very long time, Argentavis was considered the biggest flying bird that ever existed. But not long ago, it was dethroned by the next enormous bird on our list, Pelagornis and Darcy. This new biggie on the neighborhood absolutely kicked out Argentavis from the first place on the biggest flying birds list. Pelagornis was discovered in 1983 in South Carolina and documented in 2014. Pelagornis lived about 25 million years ago in Oligocene. Its most incredible feature was an incredible wingspan, up to 24 feet, 7.5 meters. It was a lightweight 50 to 80 pound, 22 to 40 kilogram bird, comparing to Argentavis, but it was taller and wider of course. It was a marine bird, and scientists believe that Pelagornis flew over the water all day long, seeking its prey, and grabbed it from the waters by its strong beak with false teeth. Pelagornis primarily ate fish and squids. Brontornis. Now let's come down to Earth to see some ginormous non-flying birds. The first of them, Brontornis, inhabited the territory of modern Argentina from 17.5 to 11.6 million years ago. The bird was a dangerous carnivore with impressive size. It weighed somewhere from 770 to 880 pounds, 350 to 400 kilograms, and was more than 9 feet, 2.8 meters. It was the heaviest terror bird that ever existed. Brontornis was a ruthless killer. When it saw a possible prey, Brontornis tried to jump on it to squish the poor thing. But if the prey could have managed to run away, Brontornis chased it and hit the animal with its strong legs. What a horrible terror bird. ForestRacos. South American ForestRacos was one of the top predators of the Miocene epoch. This 290-pound, 130-kilo bird inhabited woods and grasslands in Argentina, like many other gigantic birds. ForestRacos was 7.9 feet, 2.4 meters tall, and had a big 26-inch, 65-centimeter head, with a strong and long neck to handle it. The bird had a spectacular hooked beak that helped it to stab its prey easily. ForestRacos hunted small and medium-sized animals, ancient horses, and could even kick the butt of a Smilodon. It's more likely that Smilodons and ForestRacoses lived in peace, cohabiting as apex predators, but a fight between this cat and this bird must have been epic. The Haast's eagle. This marvelous bird lived in New Zealand for more than 1 million years. But when ancient Homo sapiens came to the arena, even the most formidable species can stand the test. This eagle is considered the biggest eagle ever existing, with its impressive weight of 20 to 33 pounds, 9 to 15 kilograms. Its wingspan was up to 8.5 feet, 2.6 meters, which is pretty small for such a big bird. Haast's eagle was also a very skilled predator, and its major prey were moa, other species of gigantic but flightless birds, and humans. The bird was strong enough to hunt for human children. It seems to be, however, that people outsmarted Haast's eagle because they were hunted to extinction in the 15th century by humans. Dromornis. This bird is none other than the giant moa, the prey of our previous feathered friend. However, we should not underestimate these gentle giants only because they were herbivores. Dromornises were huge, about 12 feet, 3.6 meters tall, and weighed more than 500 pounds, 226 kilograms, but that wasn't the limit. One of the found fossils belonged to the huge bird, whose estimated weight was about 613 pounds, 278 kilograms. The bird has really powerful legs, and it could kick to death anyone who wasn't too smart and tried to kill it. Giant moas lived in New Zealand for 40,000 years, but in the 16th century, they completely disappeared from the world thanks to the most mischievous species on the planet, humans. Kumi manu. Gigantic extinct penguin Kumi manu lived around 60 to 56 million years ago, right after the dinosaurs left the Earth due to their untimely extinction. The species lived in Antarctica, but the place was much more pleasant at that time, with a warm subtropical climate perfect for sunbathing, fruit cocktails, and gigantic penguins. Kumi manu was as tall as an average modern man, about 5.5 feet, 1.7 meters, and weighed about 200 pounds, 90 kilograms. This bird hunted for fish and even bigger marine inhabitants when it could. Kumi manu is the oldest giant penguin that was ever found, and it's probably the biggest of them. He was not an easy catch, and scientists think that not many animals dared to fight with Kumi manu. Dromornis stirtoni. After a giant penguin, do you want to meet a giant goose? Let's say hello to Dromornis stirtoni, flightless, wingless, but extremely powerful ancestor to geese, which was a predator, not prey, more than 50,000 years ago. A gigantic 1,200 pound, 0.5 ton bird that was about 10 feet, 3.1 meters tall is something straight out of the scary movies. Scientists debate over Dromornis' food preferences, since it has some features that indicate its herbivore nature and others that indicate its carnivorous lifestyle. It could be omnivorous, though, and if it's true, I can only imagine the feelings of its prey when this giant bird runs after you. Kelenken. The biggest of its family, Kelenken, was a giant flightless predatory bird that lived around 15 million years ago on the territory of the modern Argentina. It was up to 10 feet, 3.2 meters high, and weighed around 550 pounds, 250 kilograms. Scientists found Kelenken's skull, and it astounds you with its size. About 28 inches, 71 centimeters long. It is the biggest skull among all the birds that ever existed. Kelenken probably killed its prey by beating it to death with its giant beak, or lifting it up in the air to crash it on the ground. Not a very pleasant picture. Cassowary. Let's finish our list with the most dangerous bird on the planet that's still alive. And I mean cassowary. The size of a typical cassowary can be somewhere from 5 to 6.6 feet, 1.5 to 2 meters in height, and it can weigh about 120 to 140 pounds, 58 to 60 kilograms. This flightless bird is an extremely successful omnivore who likes fruit the most. However, cassowaries don't like humans, and I can't blame them. And when they go into a fight with people, often a cassowary comes out winning against a human. That's how cassowary got the name of the most dangerous bird on Earth. What bird from this list was the biggest surprise for you? Do you think that any more species of bird are locked in the ground waiting to be discovered? Let us know in the comments, and be the earliest bird that gets the worm by commenting first. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel, and I also recommend you to hit the bell button so you'll receive notifications every time I upload a new video. Thank you very much.